A royal arrest in Britain. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A former prince stripped of his title after being implicated in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking of underage girls is now in police custody.
On his 66th birthday, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in a public office. Emails suggest the King's brother may have passed the convicted sex offender documents while working as a UK trade envoy. Andrew was moved by King Charles to the Sandringham estate in Norfolk earlier this year. Searches are now taking place with the former Duke of York in custody. Andrew denies wrongdoing.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. In South Korea, former President Yoon Suk-yeol ousted, then impeached over a declaration of martial law in 2024 to crack down on his opponents, has been sentenced to life in prison. Now to Tucson, Arizona.
It is day 19 since Nancy Guthrie was taken from her Tucson home just 60 miles north of the U.S.-Mexico border. And we're now told that FBI investigators have been in contact with Mexican authorities. And while we're told this is standard operating procedure in cases so close to the border, it does speak to the wide net cast in this investigation.
Fox's Brian Yanis. A reward for info leading to an arrest in the Guthrie disappearance is now up to $200,000. One skier remains missing in California but presumed dead in the deadliest avalanche in the U.S. in 45 years. 8 others killed, 6 rescued.
An avalanche warning went into effect Tuesday morning as the group of 4 guides and 11 skiers were finishing up a 3-day skiing expedition near Castle Peak, a popular backcountry ski area near the city of Truckee in Lake Tahoe. As the group was leaving, police say one of the skiers yelled avalanche and it all came tumbling down.
That's Fox's Claudia Cowan. President Trump chairs a meeting of his Board of Peace today. He and member countries will focus on Gaza rebuilding after the ceasefire that stopped Israel's war on Hamas. America's listening.
Progressive Commercial presents Heroes That Keep Truckers Going. Today's hero, your favorite sassy diner server. Sure, her eyes might say, I don't have all day. But deep down, you know that extra pancake on your plate says, I dislike you less than most people. Thanks, hero. What else can keep truckers going? Progressive Truck Insurance with primary liability limits up to $2 million. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to terms and limits.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-809-7171. That's 800-809-7171.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Talking Loves until 10 on Extra 106.3. Morning, y'all. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you caring about the state of Georgia the way you do and the community that we live in and the United States of America. This is a, as we lead into mid-February into March, Ben Burnett joins me in for Front Office Lowe's. The midterms just around the corner. So important to be motivated because the Democrats are motivated, dude.
They're motivated. They're doing well.
Yeah, they are motivated.
Scary.
And they would love to reverse everything that the current administration has done and send us back, open the borders back up. All the craziness, all the communist crazy socialist
make you
ideas.
get shots.
Yeah, force you to get absolutely. You say that in jazz, but yes, they would love to do that.
Tell me I can't leave my house.
Right, absolutely, and they would love to do that again too. So just be aware of what we're up against, what could happen, come November if you're not just as motivated as the Democrats, and the people around you are not just as motivated as the Democrats. It is so very important. But, it kind of along those lines, Senator Blake Tillery joins us here in the studio, going to be here for a while, and talk about the things that are happening in the state of Georgia, all the things that matter. And he is actually running for lieutenant governor. And so we'll get into, where he's from, what he's about, and why he's running for lieutenant governor, too. Blake, good morning, man.
Thanks for letting me be on here today.
Dude, it's great to have you, and I love that accent because it reminds me of Georgia. You know?
Song of the South.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Because so many people, look, let's be honest, so many people that have moved to Georgia don't have that sweet Southern sound.
No, you have enough for plenty, most of us. Between the two of you.
Yeah, dude, this show just got countryed up.
Yeah.
we're gonna listen to some Hank Jr. and probably have a nip of whiskey or something.
And Onion
talk
Eating
guns.
Festival.
Yes, absolutely. Being from Vidalia, I guess we could do that.
We can talk about it. I know a little bit about that one.
Yeah, right. Blake said we need to do the show from the.
We got all kinds of onions.
Yeah, that's right. But we should do the show from the Vidalia Onion Festival. That'd be awesome to get down there.
I'm sure I know a few people. We can probably help you guys out with that one.
I think
That would be really fun.
Dude, it'd be awesome. But I think I would love to take this show statewide. Now, some people want to do nationwide. I just want to do it statewide. I would love to have our show on in every part of the state.
One horse towns and saloons.
Shoot, yeah. Absolutely. My people. I would like to go hang out with my people. That's what
Moonshiners.
Yeah, all of them. Yes. Yeah. Like I got a cousin Curtis. That
what else we got, Tug?
Yeah, he'll steal the hubcaps, but he'll give you the money for it.
Yeah,
because he'd give you the shirt off his back, but it might belong to somebody else. I'm just telling you how he is. A wonderful guy, and everybody loves him. I talk about him a lot. But
well, if y'all are coming to the Onion Festival, this year's the year to come. Every other year, the Blue Angels come. We're the only show they repeat at, so I think this is like the 5th or 6th time.
Well, they can get there in about 3.5 minutes.
Oh, buddy. So listen. So I was chairman of the county commission before I went to the Senate. I got elected when I was 28, and I'm chairman of the county commission. They say, "Hey, come on out and meet the pilots when they land at the airport." So I'm standing out there. I'm like, "Hey, well, do we know when they're landing?" And I'm a pilot too. A little tiny small plane costs less than your truck, but I like to fly, so I know that's just math, right? We know when they're landing. And I said, "Can you tell me when?" They're like, "No, we can't tell you yet." We're standing out there. We figure out they haven't even left Pensacola. They fly from Pensacola as we're standing there, and they make it to Vidalia. And I mean, that's not a short flight, guys, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're in
an FA-18.
Yeah, FA-18. Turns out it doesn't take very long.
The Super Hornet can get there super quick.
Yeah.
No, I love it. That's awesome. So from Vidalia, married, couple kids, and what? So you started county commission, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I helped some folks get elected. First time we elected Republicans in charge of the county commission in my hometown, Vidalia, Toombs County. And the first thing that happened is they raised the property taxes. They raised the millage rate. And I went to them. I said, "Hey, I kind of thought we did something different as conservatives. I thought we wwere low on taxes." So I ended up running against them. I ended up winning.
So the people you helped get elected, you ran against?
Ended up running against, yeah. Ended up winning. And I'm nuancing that a little bit.
No, but still, that's the story.
Out. Yep. And then ended up being chairman of the county commission for 4 years. We dropped property taxes every year I was chairman. Turns out we didn't have a revenue problem. We had a spending problem.
Yeah.
And once we addressed it, we were able to lower taxes for people.
Well, that sounds familiar, Ben.
Does it?
The whole spending problem thing? Yes, it does. It sounds really familiar.
It's the only place you can solve it, man. Once you get past the state government, it's hopeless.
Yeah.
I say that with regret, but it's about the truth.
No, I know. And you're working on the budget now.
Yeah, so I chair the Appropriations Committee in the Senate. I've done that now for 7 years. I've just been blessed. I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe God has a lot to do with where we are and opens doors and closes them. And he opened a lot of doors for me. So my 3rd year in the Senate, I started chairing the Appropriations Committee. That was the middle of COVID, by the way, guys. So the first thing we had to do is cut the state budget by 15%.
Yeah.
15%. And we held the line there, which put us in a position now to have a lot of the surpluses we have. I credit Governor Kemp for that too, because we didn't increase our spending, but we did let the fact that inflationary increases in revenue were coming in. And now we're in a position that we've already given that back over $9 billion to Georgia taxpayers. I think that's good, but I think we can do better. I think we can completely eliminate our income tax.
You and a lot of people are talking about this, right? I mean, that just seems to be like the most popular, and it's music to my ears for sure.
I want to give you credit because we talk about it all the time, and I think the conversation that you guys are having. So Blake is the chair of the special committee on how you guys were going to get rid of the income tax or whatever. I got that wrong, but I got the spirit of the law was right.
In the spirit of government, the name is much longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, right, of course.
And between property taxes and state income taxes, I've had this conversation with him a couple of weeks ago, but I think he's right, but I'm glad to see Georgia having a meritocratic conversation on who do we want to be and why. And even if you disagree, like very rarely do you see the government look at the best option. And I think you guys are having a pretty spirited debate down there right now, and they're all good options, So if
that's a good spot to be.
And it never happens.
And that never happens, right?
And I don't see governments do hard things very often. And you guys are having a fundamental shift of a conversation about who we want to be when we grow up.
And what's that answer? Can you answer that?
Well, I can tell you where I'm at on it. And so we were looking. So I chair the budget. So when I start talking these wonky numbers here in a second, most of your viewers are going to turn off. You're about to lose your ratings because of me talking numbers. So be careful here. Now.
They won't. They like money.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it takes about $3 billion. Our income tax. I've explained it like a Subway sandwich. Everyone's trying to go to zero, but we're eating that Subway sandwich from one side. We were at 6% on our state income tax. We went to 5.75, 5.49, 5.39. We're eating from one side.
Sure.
To go an entire additional percent is $3 billion. But if we came from the other side of that sandwich, we raised the standard deduction, we could actually eliminate the income tax on the first $50,000 for individuals, $100,000 if you're married, for the same $3 billion. So what that ends up doing is eliminating the state income tax on 64% of people in year one and giving folks over $100,000 a $5,190 savings.
I like
it's doable. It's totally doable. You just got to think about it coming from the other side of the sandwich.
So what is the other ways that people are thinking? Because you said there's a bunch of different conversations like this. So there are other people think there's a different way to get to it than the way that you laid out?
So some people would like to continue the walk down that we've done. We're at 5.19%. We could go to 4.99% or 4 point, and that I think we will. We could also go all the way down to 3.99%. But if you're going from 5.19 to 4.19, 1 whole percent, that does cost $3 billion. And I say cost, it's the people's money.
Yeah, sure.
You get what I'm saying, though. It's state revenue reduces by $3 billion.
It's not nothing.
It's not nothing, but let's think about what it does to a family making $50,000 a year.
Which is the average, right?
47,000 is average in Georgia. I think the middle class right now is about 50 to 150,000. That's where I'm trying to focus this plan. And if you make more than that, you're still going to benefit. You're going to get $5,000 in tax savings. But if you make less than that, or you're in that sphere, we're eliminating your income tax completely. The reason that I'm focused on coming from the other side instead is we're dropping the income tax 1% for someone making $100,000. Only gives them about enough money to buy a Chick-fil-A #1 every pay period. 24 pay periods a year, you're saving them $200 a year. You're just not really helping them that much. If we come from the other side, though, that's $2,400 in the pocket of somebody making $50 grand.
I think it's great.
$5,000 if you're making $100.
And I know you're not here yet, but I think in a general election, and you want to go persuade Democrats who love to talk about the folks in this country who are the haves and the have-nots, there's nothing better for people that don't have a whole lot than to say, well, congratulations.
We're not charging you
anything.
Yeah. Tax and look.
And there's nothing they can say about it.
Well, there was one big thing, and let me tell you, here's where we're getting attacked. The liberal crowd saying, well, they're just going to quit taking it out of your left pocket and start taking it out of your right pocket instead. They're going to raise the sales tax. They're going to do this. No, we didn't. We passed Senate Bill 476. It's already done. It does exactly what I just told you. Eliminates the state income tax on 2/3 of Georgians. Gives everyone else a big reduction. And we did it without raising sales tax. How did we do it? Well, we went after corporate credits. In Georgia, we give out over $30 billion of corporate welfare. The state income tax only brings in $16.2 billion. If you want to eliminate the state income tax, you only have to cut those corporate credits in half.
Yeah,
you don't even have to get rid of them.
Yeah, you just cut them. Yeah, and I bet there's plenty of people that would be like, oh, them or me? I'll take me.
Well, some of these things are crazy. I mean, like, for instance, you talked about your kid goes to school at Augusta.
Yeah.
If you buy a laptop for your son, you're going to pay sales tax on it tonight.
Already did.
But if you buy $15 million worth of laptops or computers because you're building a data center, you pay no sales tax at all.
Yeah, slow down.
The cost on that to the state is over $1.5 billion in foregone sales tax revenue. Take that revenue instead from the data centers, use it to reduce the income tax on people making $100,000 and less. Let's make sense for Georgians.
I love it. Anytime you talk about getting rid of tax, I mean, we've talked about this a million times. Like, I'm always in favor of cutting taxes as much as we possibly can. Do we want to pave the roads? Yes. But past that, I'm not a fan of sales tax or taxes.
If you're in the business of buying $15 million of computers, you're probably one of about 10 companies.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Who could afford to pay the sales tax.
That's right. Yeah. Why have we done it this way? Is it the good old boy system? Somebody's getting a kickback somewhere? Why is it set up this way to begin with?
Yeah, I don't know that I'll go that far. Some people would be that cynical, and maybe I should be. I think what happens is we try to bring industry here, and that's good, and we've done a great job of that.
Because the Hollywood thing, kind of like that example?
We can talk about that credit if you want to.
Sure, I would like to see that. That's gone.
$1.2 billion in this year's that goes, again, out of Georgia pockets. We underwrite the movie industry at 30%. I'm not saying we should do away with them, but let's think about this. Is that helping a family in Fulton County, Cobb County, Gwinnett County pay for gas, groceries,
Not
or
that I can tell. Not that I can tell. Like, I don't like Hollywood even a little bit. I'm like they make fun of me on the show because I watch so little TV and movies. Like, it's just not my thing. I don't enjoy it to begin with. I mean, it's fine, whatever. I don't, if my wife wants to watch a movie, I'll watch it with her. But I'm not going out searching for it. And then I don't like what Hollywood is. I don't like what it represents. I don't like what it does to American culture. I don't like anything about it. So the fact that it's growing so vastly here in Georgia makes me sick to my stomach, if I'm being completely honest.
It was. It's not having its best day anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Ben, I thought the same thing, but let me tell you, we're actually going to have more for our film tax credit this year than we have in the past. So
really?
Over $600 million since July. And remember, we underwrite that industry at about 30%. If we underwrote your industry at 30% and you couldn't make money, we'd probably laugh at you.
Yeah, I mean, you got a problem.
Well, I would be interested in being underwritten.
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. So would they. That's why they're coming here. But then, you got stuff like, here's another one.
Tell me more about that.
How might you help me? Yeah. It's like with Rivian. That one sticks in my craw. That one bothers me a whole bunch. In any of that stuff, when I see like us doing things like that, and maybe there's some wisdom that I don't have, and maybe it was a good idea at one point, but everybody knew that the EV thing was being forced down people's throat. Nobody was buying EVs. Right. And then we just give Rivian this huge tax credit that doesn't seem to benefit us all, and now we're not even sure it's going to work. They're moving everything up to Illinois or something.
They are. They say they're going to keep their Southeast headquarters here. There's some stuff that they've done out there that they had to do for bond purposes, like break ground, et cetera. One thing that I think holds at the end is a lot of their credits are weighted towards jobs tax credits. So if they don't ever open those jobs, they won't get them from Georgia. Sure. We did put a ton of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, as you noted, out on I-20 at their site. My solace in that is that, hey, if they don't go there, we got a darn good site.
Somebody will.
Somebody's going there. Yeah. That's right. So I feel please know, I completely agree with you on that. I don't understand why we want to underwrite other folks coming here when we have folks that are already here who want to grow their businesses, want to do well. Until we can solve this affordability crisis for the middle class, you're going to see me be laser focused on that instead of helping someone else come here.
Yeah, so with taxes, obviously, as we talked to Blake Tillery this morning, state senator and running for lieutenant governor, let's talk about the affordability thing, because, I mean, right now we seem to be trending in a good direction. Gas prices are low. I know this is something that Donald Trump's been a big part of. Egg prices are low, but I use eggs because that seemed to be last year.
That was 2 years ago. It was like, eggs are expensive.
That's right. Everything was the egg conversation.
Eggs have never been more expensive.
That's right. And then every news network was, eggs, you can't afford eggs. They're $10, whatever.
Yeah, Waffle House did a surcharge.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So, I mean, there was reality to it. I'm not saying, but I feel like we're trending in the right direction. Am I right about that?
I hope so, but I do think we can do more. I still think we have a little bit of a bifurcated economy. You've seen the stock market hit highs we've never seen before. And folks like me and you, we might not be worried about how we're paying for gas, groceries, and childcare tonight, but you've got folks right now that are paying more in childcare than they are on their mortgage or their rent. So what can we do as a state government to alleviate that? Well, the biggest portion of their wealth that we take is that state income tax. Let's figure a way to reduce that. And it's not an anomaly. Remember, 9 states have already done this. Tennessee's at 0.
Every one of them around us,
Florida's
basically.
at 0.
Yeah.
North Carolina and South Carolina are at 2.99%. Yeah. Alabama's not really doing anything. I don't think we judge ourselves by Alabama.
Yeah, let's not do that. No,
Mississippi's at 0 in 14 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, don't bring it up right now. But hey, like the economy, we're trending better in football too. So what can I say?
Right. That's right. How about them dogs? No, I love it. But we talk about it here all the time, just the fact that, because I grew up in that northwest corner of Georgia, right on the Tennessee line, up in Dalton, Chattanooga. I went to Chattanooga more than I came to Atlanta, just because it's right there. And it was always, hey, no state tax. Let's go up there and shop. Let's go up there, and that was always what we did. And I think Georgia has been waiting for this opportunity. So we'll continue this conversation next here on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 with Blake Tillery joining us in studio. Ben Burnett in for Front Office Los. My name is Tug Cowart. This is Extra 106.3.
If Minnesota has shown us anything, it's that the left will side with rioters over America. The real immigration crisis is inside blue cities, whose years of soft-on-crime, open border policies are now colliding with public safety. Atlanta's conservative news and talk station won't be swayed by headwinds of left-wing media. We'll always give you the facts from the most trusted voices in the country. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
There's never been a better time to fall in love with Subaru. Now through March 31st, get award-winning vehicles and exceptional offers from a brand you trust during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Gwinnett. Explore the full lineup of hybrid, electric, gas, and wilderness vehicles, including the 2026 Subaru Forester and the all-new 2026 Subaru Outback. Every Subaru is made with love and built to last, with dependability and value coming standard. Whether you're looking to match your adventurous spirit with the 2026 Subaru Outback or land on the reliability of the 2026 Subaru Forester, Subaru of Gwinnett has the perfect fit for your family. You'll love exploring in the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek. And the 2026 Subaru Legacy is what happens when we put the best of Subaru into a sedan. Plus, every Subaru model comes equipped with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. There's a lot to discover and a lot to love at Subaru of Gwinnett. Come in for a test drive on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth or start shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Ready to sell your home fast and for top dollar? Trust Design to Sell. Staging and interior design experts recognized as one of the top 10 staging companies in the nation. From stylish redesigns to full-service staging, Design to Sell creates spaces buyers fall in love with. Faster sales, better offers. That's the power of great design. Call 678-505-1433 or visit homedesign2sell.com and ask for the fan special.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPsetc.com.
Big moments deserve big-time craftsmanship. At Solomon Brothers Jewelers, we've been family-owned and operated since 1982 because we know what it means to show up when it counts. Jaron Solomon here, and that's why we're proud to be an official Tacori jeweler. Each Tacori ring is handcrafted in California, going through 20 elite artisans before it hits your hands. Not mass-produced, not generic, always personal. And with Solomon Brothers, you get lifetime cleanings, unbeatable financing, and the largest Tacori selection in Georgia. Stop by a store in Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Sharpsburg. Visit SolomonBrothers.com to book your private appointment. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, where love is in the details and legends are built to last. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs and official jeweler of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
You've worked hard to build your investments, but are they positioned the right way from a tax perspective? Because it's not just what you make, it's what you keep. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president of Nicholas Wealth Management. Many investors don't realize that their portfolios may be creating unnecessary tax exposure. Capital gains, required minimum distributions, inefficient account placement can quietly reduce your returns, especially as you approach retirement. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we help clients evaluate whether their investments are structured in a tax-efficient way, looking beyond performance to understand how taxes impact income today and your legacy tomorrow. Are your assets in the right accounts? Are there opportunities to reduce further tax liability? Is your strategy aligned with your long-term retirement goals? Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 678-990-8500. Schedule a complimentary review. That's 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management, helping you keep more of what you've worked so hard to build.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm. This is for informational purposes only and is not specific investment advice.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Thursday, February 19th, and here are your headlines. The Georgia House has passed a bill aimed at keeping data center energy costs off utility customers' bills, requiring new contracts to ensure data centers cover construction and demand-related costs instead of passing them on to residential and retail electricity users. The measure, backed overwhelmingly and now headed to the state Senate, targets growth in more than 100 data centers around the state. The Atlanta-based Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has a new acting director, with National Institutes of Health Director Jay Bhattacharya stepping in to lead the agency temporarily while the White House searches for a permanent appointee. He will maintain his role at NIH as he oversees the CDC amid ongoing leadership turnover and pending Senate confirmation of a future director. And finally, hundreds are expected to honor Lincoln Riley this weekend at a Run for Your Life 5K in Athens, an event celebrating the young woman's life and raising awareness about safety after her tragic death last year. Family members, friends, and community supporters will gather to remember Riley and support efforts to prevent similar incidents. Today's weather is mostly cloudy with a high of 75 and a low of 65. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tuck and Los until 10 on the morning extra on Extra 106.3. Ben Burnett in for front office Los. Ben, of course, the Ben Burnett Show you can hear weekends here on Extra 106.3, Saturdays and Sundays.
Thank you, Tug.
Yes, man. And
it's great to be with you.
Former Alpharetta City Councilman, and y'all were talking about that. Yeah, our guest, Blake Tillery, this morning, state senator, also running for lieutenant governor here in the state of Georgia. Talking about
you miss it every day.
Yeah, exactly. That was Blake's question to you. Do you miss being on the city council every day in Alpharetta?
I bet you get hate in the Senate when it's like abortion and guns and like your email box blows up. But if you really want to understand hate, have an apartment developer like file a public hearing in. See if that gets everybody wound up. Like they'll call, and that's like not like one side versus the other. That's like everybody's coming after your ass.
They're all what is
now it's a data center,
right? Exactly.
That's the new one.
Is that what you get the most emails about as a state senator?
So I mean, remember I chair the budget, so everybody like literally my phone is going
already
off right now.
Yeah.
Because yesterday we put money in the budget to end veteran homelessness, and we think it's going to happen. It came out of committee yesterday, so a lot of folks are pretty excited about that one. So today, Ben's a good day for me, but I'll agree with you completely. When you're on local government, folks, we talked about this earlier. I got elected at 28. Folks didn't care how old I was when they were calling about their dirt road or their neighbor's dog. They were.
That's Blake from Vidalia, so that kind of tells you where he is and where he grew up and his background a little bit. So I would assume then, like a veteran's situation like you talk about, is going to light up your inbox with positivity. Is there anything that people are more positive about than something like that?
I mean, honestly,
because politics are negative. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it is.
You hit it. It is, and of course, the negative makes news stories a little bit more often, and it also fires people up.
Yeah,
folks don't call you to say great job. They call you to
never.
say,
No, I know.
Why the heck are you doing this?
Yeah, no, that's right.
And that's part of the job. That's perfectly fine with me. I appreciate it, and I'm someone who regularly gives out my cell phone number. I want you to call me first. If you call me before you get to the coffee shop, I got one problem. You get to the coffee shop or the Waffle House, I got 10 problems.
Yeah,
you told all your friends.
You told all your buddies. That's right. Something good happens, you tell one person. You have bad, like you go to a restaurant, you have bad service, you tell 15 people, or you post it on social media and hundreds of people, or whatever.
You get it.
So, what are the things though that you've noticed that people are behind in the state of Georgia? What are some of the things that you think that the voters of Georgia all want to see happen, like the end to veteran homelessness? I mean, that's huge. As a guy that served in the Navy, it's important to me. I think, in veteran suicides, there's all kinds of things that we need to work on. Those are uniting things, I can tell. What are some of the other things that you see across the state that unite people?
Well, let's start with that one first. Homelessness. The governor put $50 million in this year's budget for that. We didn't see quite the plan to develop that here in the city of Atlanta, so we backed it off a little bit to about $25 million and tailored $15 million of it towards veterans homelessness. We also focused on our veterans home centers over in Milledgeville. We know we have some issues over there we want to resolve. That's one. Of course, people always unite around education, but they have different beliefs on what I'm a supporter of school choice, parent choice. I think that I was homeschooled for a year. I went to public school for most of my life. I went to Toombs County schools, went to Vidalia City schools, ended up going to the University of Georgia. That worked for me. How about them dogs? Twice.
Let's go.
So that worked for me, but that doesn't work for all families. I think parents can make that decision best.
Sure.
And it also helps us, having competition makes everybody better. We only got 29% of kids reading on grade level in third grade right now. That's not acceptable for business. It's definitely not acceptable when 54% of our state budget goes to education. Yeah. So we're going to demand more. And that competition, I think, in school choice helps that.
And it's something that, Ben, we see all around town, because that's one of those hot buttons. School choice is a hot button, man. People get fired up, either for or against. They get so angry and fired up about it.
I think the thing that was, when you look, Doug and I live in a nice part of the state, and if affluent's the right word, some people don't like it. And when the bill first came out, I was concerned about no boundaries and no zip codes, because you float everything and see what starts to stick. And I was like, dude, I pay to live up here. I value, that sounds like an inconvenient truth.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't necessarily I'm not busing my kids to South Fulton. I don't want that to go the other way.
Yeah.
And I think where it landed really put a lot of pressure on underperforming schools, because there's a lot of really smart kids that have the opportunity now to take the 6,000, 6,500, 7, something.
Right.
I'm in the right ballpark.
You are.
And tutor or educate privately. And I would say this as a former elected official. It frustrated the hell out of me to watch how long it took us to do damn near anything. And we were good at it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody talks about Georgia being the best place to live, work, and play, and have a family and buy dogs or whatever. And I'm sure it's you're in a conversation with 5 other states that do a lot well. But I'm sure you live perpetually frustrated with all sorts of stuff. I mean, talk about even as good as it is, talk about the things that you really think can be better.
Well, listen, my wife and I, Ashley Nicole, she's a OBGYN down in Vidalia. You said already, Tug, we have 2 little boys, and we have two foster, one foster child. One's gone back to their parents. That's
good.
Still think of them as ours. I'm focused on that system. We're Christians, like I told you earlier. We believe the book of James tells you to care for the widow and the orphan.
Yep.
I would remind folks that have the same worldview that I do that the reason why government sometimes is so big is us as believers in faith. We not done what we were supposed to do.
Sure.
Remember, we've got more churches in Georgia than we do foster kids. So we don't even need every church to adopt a foster child. If they could just wrap their arms around a family that already has. And let's be honest, our nonprofits and our religious organizations are so much more efficient at delivering goods, at sorting out waste and fraud than we are in the government.
Yeah, they have to be, because there's not an endless supply of money coming in like it is with government. So any small business, any church, that they know what the budget is. We can't go up because we don't have any place else to get
and
the
they're
money.
Focused because they care.
Yeah, right.
And
They're there for the right reason.
Yeah,
and there's plenty of people in the government that I'm not sure are there for the right reason.
So, having this as the first time you have run statewide, tell the listeners how big the state of Georgia actually is.
Oh, buddy. So this is one thing that was fun. Let's just talk about this week. And remember, we're in the middle of session, so I'm in the middle of the legislature. And
so a lot of back and forth.
Yeah. And remember this. I don't believe the way to get the next job is to leave the current job. Do a good job with the current job. So I've still been in the legislature, chairing the budget. It's probably one of the busier committees. But this week, Saturday, I was in St. Mary's. Came back up here, started doing budget. Dawsonville Monday night, was in Lafayette on Tuesday night. I'll be in Dublin tonight.
I love the fact you said it right.
Lafayette?
Yeah. Because a lot of people, that are from Metro Atlanta would say Lafayette.
Well, you got
growing up there. Yeah. When you get it right, that's important.
But remember, my dad's from Rome, my mom's from Cedartown.
So they know.
So I have a little bit of built-in advantage.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
So
he knows the suburbs of Cedartown.
Yes, he does. That's good living there.
Chubtown.
That's right. Absolutely.
You gotta know
Nick
that.
Chubb. How about them?
Old Nick. That's right. And it is a huge state. One thing that was Justice John Ellington told me one day, it made me laugh, but let's take Lafayette for a second.
Okay.
Do you realize when you're in Lafayette, you're closer to St. Louis, Missouri than you are to St. Mary's, Georgia? It's a darn big state.
Yeah, I've never put that in, but now that you've said it, gosh, man, that threw me a curveball because I've been to Lafayette a million times and I've only been through St. Louis.
So,
yeah, how about that? Yeah,
how do you do it, dude? Like, hold it all together. Like,
well, you just do nothing well, Ben. If you do nothing well too, you can do it all too. So.
That's right.
Does your wife hate you?
Well, but no, is it like
thankfully not
jack of all trades, master of none? You have to be pretty good at everything, even if it's not great at everything.
I wish I could tell you that it was me, but it's not. Listen, I told you I'm a strong person of faith. I believe I'm in this race for a reason.
Amen.
And listen, I have an amazing wife. She's an OBGYN. She takes care of our boys, takes care of the foster kids. She's just amazing. And
why isn't she running for lieutenant?
Yeah, seriously, man.
Listen, well,
because she's not a glutton for punishment.
None of you guys will be voting for me if she was on the ballot. I can promise you that. And then a great support system across this state. I mean, we've already been endorsed by over 70 sheriffs. We have 300 elected officials who put their name on the line for us. And listen, y'all, it's not because I'm someone who's loved at the Capitol. If the vote's held inside the state Capitol building, I will lose. Why? Because 9 out of 10 conversations, I'm telling somebody, no, we're not spending state taxpayer dollars when I put things in the budget. We're spending your taxpayer dollars.
That's right.
And while people might bring good ideas, those aren't necessarily good ideas that ought to be spent paid for by your taxpayer dollars.
No, I love it. I think it's so important, and I can only imagine. Like, I would like to think that we don't have a problem with fraud. But I know better, and you see it on the news, whether it's in Minneapolis or it's in, and I know this is more of probably a national issue, but those are state employees that were allowing it to happen.
You're right.
So I think that's the most irritating part for me as a taxpayer, right? I want to pay my taxes if the roads are going to be paved. I want to pay my taxes so we'll have good schools in our neighborhoods. I want to pay my taxes to make sure that we have a well-funded fire department. And Ben, you've talked about that and how important, that stuff is. But when I see fraud, dude, it makes me want to put my wallet in my back pocket and say, I ain't paying for nothing because I don't trust that it's going to anything that you're saying it is.
So you're talking about things that go on that keep me busy. That was 2 weeks of my December, making sure that we didn't have the problems that Minnesota had. Again, chairing the budget, I need to make sure. And let me tell you, we found out some things that we do different that keep us from having that Minnesota issue. Can't tell you we're perfect. Our department of, it's called DECAL. That's who runs our daycares and our child caring placement agencies. A lady named Amy Jacobs runs it. Does an awesome job. And during COVID, the federal government said, hey, you don't have to do these inspections anymore. Don't go inspect these facilities. She said, no, we're going to keep inspecting them.
Yeah.
2 times a year. Unannounced.
Yeah, good.
So we kept that going. We pay in arrears. In other words, until the kid's in the daycare, and then they send us the note back that we run through a system and make sure kids aren't on there twice at 2 different daycares. We don't send out a check. Now, it's frustrating, and we get a lot of grief at it at the state capitol because they say, hey, we need our money up front. Well, no, we don't do that so that we can prevent this fraud. Director Amy Jacobs has done an awesome job at it.
Tug, if we can do it for child care facilities, surely we could do it for voting.
Yeah, you would think maybe. that we could figure out those voter rolls and see if there's 2 people on there and see if there's somebody that's not a citizen that is voting. And I mean, David Cape's an independent journalist, and we're going to get him on the show at one point. We've been going back and forth a little bit, but I mean, he's going to buildings that are been empty for 10 years, and there's 138 people registered to vote in that building.
Yes. Now, look, that is a problem. People want to talk about machines. They want to talk about paper. All that's a great conversation. But if you don't start at the foundation level, then everything you build on top of it has no chance at standing, right? It's going to fall. If you don't have a solid foundation, the building's going to fall. And the foundation's got to be our voter rolls. I know we've passed Senate Bill 202 to make it easier to vote and harder to cheat. But what I can also tell you is if we don't get our voter rolls straight to know that only folks who are citizens are voting, then the foundation we're building it on just can't stand strong.
Yeah, it's irritating. And I think that's what most people worry about. I would contend more than anything else after what the debacle of 2020, and now we're seeing, all the things that were happening kind of behind the scenes with, duplicate ballots and ballots scanned a bunch of different times. I think that's probably the biggest fear that we have in the state of Georgia is that our elections are compromised. And I believe they're compromised. I have a hard time. I want to believe. Like, I love the state of Georgia like nothing else in the world. There is nothing I love more than being from the state of Georgia. Nothing. And it breaks my heart to think that when I go to the ballot and I cast it and somebody said, hey, you voted, and be like, I think I did.
Well, he's going to stop me here in a minute, but I want to get into when we do the last sit down segment with you for the time, I want to know why you over somebody else. Tug and I want to judge all the elevator pitches because y'all have like a 45-person race for lieutenant governor.
Well, hold that. Sit on that. Let's take a break quick, and then we'll come back. Why should people vote for you as lieutenant governor? Or for lieutenant governor, and we'll get the elevator pitch here and give us 3 minutes.
We're going to have listeners call in and critique you, so you better be ready.
Oh, man, here we go.
404-741-1230 if you would like to. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Ben Burnett in for Front Office Lowe's. Blake Tillery is a state senator and running for lieutenant governor. My name is Tug Coward on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Thursday, February 19th. The United States men's hockey team defeated Sweden 2-1 in overtime yesterday, thanks to a winner by Quinn Hughes, advancing the United States to the semifinal round where they will face Slovakia on Friday. And the U.S. women's team is in action today against Canada, chasing a gold medal for the 5th consecutive Olympic Games. The MLB announced yesterday that Bruce Meyer has been unanimously elected as the next executive director of the MLB Players Association. The announcement comes days after former executive director Tony Clark resigned due to an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law. And locally, the Atlanta Hawks are back in action tonight, taking on the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly. The Hawks will still be without newly signed forward Jonathan Kuminga, who will be out at least for the next week. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. With your sports headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
For more local sports, head over to The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM. And for the latest political news and talk, stick with Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Time now for the Retire Wise Report. James Sparker here with financial advisor Sean Maloney, founder and CEO of Retire Wise. The big question for many of our listeners as they approach retirement is, will I be okay in retirement? Sean, how do you help someone figure out if they've saved enough to be comfortable?
Great question. There's a lot of different aspects to this, but the biggest thing is looking at risk. Look, there's a lot of different risks to your money, like market risk, there's healthcare costs, inflation, and taxes. All those need to be accounted for. Many people worry if they've saved enough. Am I going to outlive my money? Strategies to help preserve your wealth can be more important than the dollar amount that you saved. Get an analysis of your situation to help you get that clarity that you need.
Tell us about the offer you have for listeners.
If you're worried about if you'll be okay for retirement, you probably don't have a plan. You might not even know what I mean when I'm talking about, do you have a retirement plan? Well, we have a great resource for you guys. We have what's called the Retire Happy Framework Toolkit, and you can get that by calling or texting WISE to 770-802-2200. My team helped me put this thing together just for you, and it's a complimentary guide. And the center of this is a copy of my latest book, The Priority of Retirement. It has chapters from everything from investments to Social Security, income planning, and has other guides that go along with it as well, with some checklists in regards to all those different strategies and topics as well. So if you want to get that information in your hands today, call or text WISE to 770-802-2200. That's 770-802-2200.
Take advantage of this offer. Get your Retire Happy Framework today. Like Sean said, just text WISE to 770-802-2200. The team at Retire Wise will get you your Retire Happy Framework right away. So just call or text WISE to 770-802-2200. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor.
Shopping the new 2026 Toyota Camry? Well, here's the smartest way to do it. Get the Camry you want and get it from the dealership that protects your purchase. Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota comes with our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty, valid for unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own your Toyota. And you can buy with confidence because Marietta Toyota is a BBB A+ rated business, and we're rated 4.6 stars on Google with over 11,000 reviews. Right now, we've got a strong Camry inventory arriving daily so you can choose the trim and color that you want while selection is at its best. Special APR is available on the new 2026 Camry, 4.99% APR for 72 months,
well-qualified buyers. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota since 1975. We've been here and will be here for you.
4.99% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. Offer ends 3/2/26. Lifetime powertrain warranty included with every new Toyota purchase. See dealer for details.
Calling all contractors. This is Devin Stovall, Stovall & Company, and we're here for you. We're a third-generation, family-owned and operated company for 75 years and just opened our 11th location in Canton on 9500 Union Hill Road. We're proud to provide your wholesale irrigation, nursery, and landscape supply needs. How do you envision your dream outdoor space for you or your customers? We're here to fulfill them all. We all take pride in special requests and shipping right to your job site. Here at Stovall, we have it all. Check us out at StovallINC.com.
Now, I'm serious, folks. This really perplexes me. If you have an above-average IQ, how in the hell can you vote Democrat?
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Tug Coward along with Ben Burnett, former Alpharetta City Councilman and host of the Ben Burnett Show weekends here on Extra 106.3. He is in for Front Office Los, who's down in New Orleans with his baby girls playing volleyball. Big times, so much fun, and I'm so glad that he's
eating
there.
Commander's Palace and just having a big time, drinking Hurricanes.
I told you I've never been down there, so I don't know. I don't have any idea where they are. I know nothing about New Orleans, except for they have great food, or at least that's what I'm
saying.
told.
Bam with Emerald Lagasse.
Yeah. Come on, and Blake Tillery joining us here on Extra 106.3, state senator currently running for lieutenant governor. Ben set you up right before we finished the last segment about the elevator pitch. What is it that people listening to this show right now need to know about you? Why should they vote for you over somebody else? Because there's quite a few people running for lieutenant governor.
3 dozen.
That's about right. Listen, our campaign's focused on 3 things: protecting Georgia values, protecting Georgia families, protecting Georgia pocketbooks. Let's break them down for a second. Georgia values. Me and Ashley Nicole want our boys to be raised in the same values that we were raised on: faith in God, fear of God too, freedom, personal responsibility, liberty. So imagine the Georgia values. Let's talk about boys don't need to be in girls' locker rooms.
Amen.
And I don't want my sons or their daughters or whoever else to face that. That's why I introduced Senate Bill 39. When I found out that the state was actually paying for transgender surgeries with your taxpayer dollars, I was like, this is not right.
Yeah,
so,
that's not a story that's gotten out there very well, so it's good that you're bringing
got it through. Got it through the Senate. It actually ended up with a problem in the House. We had to tag it to another bill, thinking outside the box, and we sent it over last Tuesday. Again, we're going to get that across the finish line. Listen, if your own health insurance isn't paying for your elective surgeries, why should your state taxpayer dollars pay for transgender elective surgeries?
And then on top of it, look, when you're 25, 35, whatever, you make a decision. It ain't a decision I would make. I don't think it's a smart decision. I don't think it's a wise decision. But when it comes to somebody under 18 years old and they're doing crazy surgeries that require lifelong care afterwards, and they call it affirming care, yet none of the people seem to be better off mentally
afterwards.
Right. And definitely not with their health. There are lifelong issues with the surgeries.
And if we don't trust you now until you're the age of 21 to buy a cigarette, I promise you, one cigarette's not hurting you near as much as a gender mutilating surgery. Let's just call it what it is.
Sure.
That's what I mean about protecting Georgia values.
Yeah.
Let's talk about protecting Georgia families. Y'all, I'm a strong supporter of legal immigration and a strong opponent of illegal immigration. We've seen where illegal immigration has led to harm with families. Case in point, Lincoln Riley. Think about these things.
Yeah.
And so we have very strong illegal immigration bills in Georgia, about 9 of them. My colleagues think that, let's back up. Cities and counties, if they don't follow them, they really don't matter. The answer is not to write a 10th. The answer is to hold the cities and counties accountable when they're not following Georgia immigration laws. That's what I did with Senate Bill 21. I said if a city or a county is not following Georgia immigration laws and a Georgia citizen gets hurt because of it, they should be able to sue that city or county.
Down in Savannah, the teacher.
Yeah, and Ben will tell you, local governments, you hit them in their pocketbook one time.
I get sued. I used to get sued all the time for all sorts of stuff that I didn't even know about.
Wow.
But once your pocketbook as a city or county government's hit one time, the other 158 counties, the 435 cities, they're going to follow them.
We don't want to have that happen. What happened to them?
So that's what I mean by protecting Georgia families, protecting Georgia values, protecting Georgia families, and Georgia pocketbooks. We've talked about this at length earlier. We can eliminate our income tax. That puts, on average, $2,500 back in the pocket of somebody making $50,000. It puts $5,190 in someone making $100,000 pocket. This is doable for Georgians. They are feeling the crunch at the pump. Affordability is the word. So let's give back or figure a way like 9 other states already have to give back to them the money they've sent to us.
Yeah. And I would imagine Because we talked about tax credits and how we would rather give that to citizens than corporations. But I would imagine with no sales tax that would be an incentive for businesses to continue to come here too, right?
I would think so. Obviously, it's worked in Florida, so why would we not replicate that?
Tennessee too.
You asked why. Those are the reasons. We want to protect Georgia values, Georgia families, Georgia pocketbooks, and last but not least, we're killing it. I'll tell you. We've raised more money than anybody else in this campaign, $1 million more than my nearest competition. We've got the endorsement of 70 sheriffs who say when Blake's talking about protecting Georgia families, he's not talking some nonsense. We believe him. We're the elected people to affect those Georgia families and protect them. We're with him too. So
yeah, no, it's a great. I think it's fantastic. And how do folks find out more about you in case they want to know? Like today, they're like, you know what? I need to learn more. If I'm going to pull the lever for somebody, I want to know more about them. Everything he said sounds great, but I want to go check him out.
Yeah, well, we want you on the team. Go to www.tilleryforgeorgia.com. And I can tell you, when you go there, there's something else you're going to find too. I'm never going to meet everybody in my own county, much less every county of the state. So we've already gotten someone in every single county, all 159 counties to be, I'm going to air quote it, Tillery chairs, so that you can go and see who in your county is already supporting Blake, already endorsed him being the Tillery chair there, so that if you never meet me personally, maybe you know Bob, and Bob likes me, so, well, if he's good enough for Bob, he's good enough for me.
That's right. That's right.
That's how our campaign's working, organically, grassroots. We'd love to have you on board.
Yeah, I love it, man. There's a lot.
You're going to have a long spring, man.
Yeah.
I mean, between Rotary clubs and Chamber of Commerces, and it is Groundhog Day. We were glad to just change that up a little bit.
Right. Mix it up a little bit.
We're making him late to all of his emails about the budget.
Oh, it's fine, man. We got to be on the Senate floor at 10 o'clock. And like I told you, I'll be in Dublin tonight at 5 o'clock. So it's all going to work out. And,
zigzagging across the state.
But if you can't do what you've always done if you want something different. I want something better for Georgia. And that's why I'm running. And we're going to do something different.
That's enough to convince me there. Just doing better for Georgia, because I think there's a lot of things that we can do better. And this is a state that I deeply care about, man. When I say that, man, I was in the Navy station down in Jacksonville. I could have changed my residency down there and not pay us an income tax, right?
And should have.
And I should have. he gives me a hard time, but I wouldn't do it. I was like, I'm not giving up my Georgia license. Not a chance. Not a chance. That's how passionate I am about the place that I was born and raised and I love. And I think there's a lot of people on the other end of this radio that feel the exact same way. And the fact that you feel that way, and I can tell you feel that way, I think means something to people. Because there's a lot of people that don't feel that way.
My father had a Florida driver's license until he retired. Even living here, he voted absentee in Florida.
I love it.
And he was like, hell no.
That makes the most sense. That makes the most sense.
We lived in Hawaii, California, North Carolina, everywhere. And he was like, Florida.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. I get it. But, when you're 19, 20-year-old and it means something to you,
right.
I wasn't willing to give it up. I just wasn't. And that's why when I go and pull the lever for somebody, I want to know that they feel the same way about this place as I do. I want people to love it the way I love it.
How do you, this is not like the political part, but this is what people want to know. How do you take care of yourself running on two wheels like you are?
You can't go through.
You can't go eat Egg McMuffins.
Yeah, you can't eat drive-through chicken every day.
Well, I'll tell you, man. At first I lost 20 pounds, but I'm sure I've gained it back since then. I don't know that I do that great job taking care of myself. I'm probably close to a workaholic, so being up here this morning was not a problem. Being back at the Capitol today is not a problem. Being in Dublin tonight is not a problem. Being back at it tomorrow morning, the Senate will have the budget on the floor tomorrow.
Well, he didn't answer the question, but I'm going to tell him he probably needs a chiropractor.
Yeah, I would think
sitting in the car,
so much, or sitting as much. Absolutely, no, I think that's exactly right. Where's the best place to when you're out and about? Like where's your favorite spot? Is there a place in Northwest Georgia or Southeast Georgia that's your favorite place to eat and go?
Oh, buddy, listen, I like cheap Mexican food.
Yes, sir.
Yes, trashy Mexican
Take
food.
Me, yes,
my man.
I do not care. Let's meet at Chops. Let's meet at this. Those are good places. Don't get me wrong.
Sure. Of course.
But take me to a cheap Mexican joint. Go to and La Paria is not cheap anymore. But there's a little cheap Mexican joint not too far from the Capitol. That's where I want to be.
That's right. Absolutely. That or a barbecue joint for me.
And it's still affordable. Remember that.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Some queso dip that may give you a shot of tetanus.
That's right, or you'll need one anyway. Yeah. Like I'm I love the Waffle House. That's where I go for my birthday every year. Like that's my tradition. As I go to the Waffle House for my birthday. But outside of that, man, I love a meat and three. Give me a good mom and pop meat and three. Yeah, that's good.
We need one in Alpharetta.
We do, dude. What's wrong? Why don't we have one?
Well, all the women weigh 1105 pounds.
Yeah,
well, we'd have nobody to feed our meatloaf to.
But it is that's the thing, is hometown, local. I love downtown Alpharetta because of what they've done. Just the fact it looks like something out of a movie. It's so beautiful.
But there's no meat and three.
That's exactly where I was going.
You can eat $100 fish, but you cannot eat a $12 side of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, chicken. That's right. Fried chicken
and
mashed potatoes and pie and all that sort of stuff. We got to do better. Where is the best meat and three in town? In Metro Atlanta, best meat and three. Because I know there's a bunch of them out there. And if you want to share them with us, we'll take your calls at 404-741-1230. Is anything, because we got a couple minutes left, anything you'd like to leave folks with?
I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for letting me be on here today. If you want someone who's going to defend the Constitution, who cares about the Second Amendment, cares about the First Amendment, believes that individuals matter more than companies. If we put people first, we can eliminate that income tax. If you want someone who believes that, then I'm your candidate for Lieutenant Governor. I'd be honored to earn your vote. This is a job interview. I understand that, and I hope that I can earn your vote.
Yeah, I love it. And the fact that you care about foster kids and you have foster kids, man, so many people that we go to church with have done that, and it's so valuable.
It's a high-profile race, which is kind of strange because you, unfortunately or fortunately, are sitting with a U.S. Senate race and a governor's race. How hard is it to get media attention? You got 45 seconds.
Honestly, it hasn't been, because we're talking about issues that matter to Georgia. We're talking about their pocketbooks. We're talking about their values. We're talking about protecting their families. So it's not been. And we've been accepted in so many communities now. We've probably been in over 150 speaking engagements now since the beginning of the year. It's incredibly busy. But again, I'm applying for a job with those people. I need to go to them. They don't have to come to me.
It is just ramping up, too. You've been doing all that, and it's just ramping up. Can you imagine what it'll be like in 6 months?
Oh, buddy. Making it through the primary. Remember, the primary is May the 19th. So, again, if you care about those values, I'm Blake Tillery, and I'd love to earn your vote.
Blake, thank you so much, man. We wish you the best.
Good to see you, man.
And,
thanks, Ben. Y'all have a great one.
Yeah, man, and I can't wait to have you back in. When we come back on Extra 106.3, CNN notices the game that CBS and Stephen Colbert are playing with political guests. Next on the Morning Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
We started a trip in the Bortz bus yesterday with the trip odometer at 666 miles. We said, what the hell, we're going to go anyway. But instead of griping about aggressive pickup truck drivers, idiots that don't know how to merge onto an expressway, and people who don't have turn signals on their cars, I thought I'd share some government outrages with you. Let's see if I can squeeze these in. Florida Congressman Randy Fine, Republican, responding to Muslims in New York City that don't like dogs. Want something done about those dogs. They're unclean. So Congressman Fine said, look, I'd rather have the dogs than the Muslims. Now everybody wants his resignation, but not me. I agree with him wholeheartedly. Give me a room of golden retrievers over a mosque full of Muslims any day. There. I said it. Next, a flight from a major airline was delayed over the last few days because it was missing a no smoking sticker in one of the aisles. A passenger reports that we boarded. The captain just came out to tell us that an hour ago they discovered that row 18 didn't have a no smoking sticker, so the plane will have to stay on the ground until the mechanics can print a new conforming sticker and the plane can leave. It was not legally allowed to fly without the sticker. That is the nature of government regulations. I experienced it once when my cigarette lighter wouldn't work on my Mooney. I don't smoke. It doesn't matter. I couldn't fly if the cigarette lighter wasn't working. I flew anyway. And Fine, one of Mondami's goons in New York City, is suggesting that they make it illegal